Zero. It's something we've been working on for a little while, and really it's an experimental noise instrument that we've built from recordings of rare, obsolete hardware, vintage signal generators, laboratory test equipment, and mechanical sounds of machines that were never really ever designed to be heard as music. Now, in this video, as always, I'm going to walk you through the plugin, how it's structured, how the controls work, and exactly what it sounds like in use. Let's get into it. So look, this is Archive 0, and at first glance it might seem like there's a lot going on, but actually once you understand the two core layers, it's pretty simple. So the two core layers are transmission and interference and how they interact. Let's have a look at each panel. So the transmission panel, this is your primary source, and this is where you've got 145 original samples recorded from all those things we talked about earlier. Have a look at the description on the website for exactly full info about them. And now they're kind of organized in the preset browsers into atmosphere-based noise pads, plucks, and pulses to help you kind of pick them. So you can go through and you can pick from here, or you can go into the kind of preset browser and you can choose some things. And all there you've got things from word generators, filter banks, oscillators, running through vacuum tube processors, wave analyzers, electroacoustic instrument, then dot matrix printers, mid-cycle, electromechanical equipment that's in motion, sounds from the physical world and electronic world all together. So look, already you've got things that sound musical, and you just heard that in the transmission. So that's how that works. And with that, you've got loop, you've got reverse. You can adjust the attack, decay, sustain, release. So, you know, if you want to really, really go full town on the old pen. You can do if you want to. But I would say the one thing I would say about these samples is this isn't like other instruments. We've really not cleaned anything. We've left it exactly as we've recorded it and as we've found it. So those glitches, those odd sounds, they're all in there. So our second signal layer is the interference panel, and this is where things get interesting. So this has 4 banks, A, B, C, and D. And they're controlled down here by this signal select. So if I just turn transmission off, and let's turn on bank A of interference, you can hear that classic kind of vinyl dust on that one. B, we've got some classic static. C, we've got snow. D, let's have some white noise for D. And again, these are all loopable, reversible as well. So let's just, for the purpose of what we're doing today, we can loop that round. So look, how that then kind of works is both of those kind of combine with this thing called the scan dial. Now, the scan dial blends between these two layers. So let's put transmission back on. So as you can hear, eventually our transmission will fade away and give way fully to the interference that we've done there. So in the middle is where you get that kind of blend. Now, where this becomes really powerful is when you combine this with the randomize panel here in the bottom left. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flick randomize on. What we should start seeing is our scan dial in the middle is now doing its own thing. And I can choose how intense this is. I can choose how erratic it is. So if I turn erratic right down, you can see we're not moving so much. We're moving sort of more gradually. I can increase the rate. And I can remove all the smoothing. So it just jumps randomly. So that just gives us an idea of something organic, something interesting that we could do, we could listen to. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off randomize and interference for a moment. So now we get into the signal matrix. So once you've got your sound, then you can really start to distort, degrade, and do crazy things to it. And that's where the signal matrix comes in. So I'm going to turn on the signal matrix. So what we're doing here, 3 controls here. We've got the distortion, degrade, and echo. So with the distortion, we're really kind of pushing the harmonic content and adding grit to the sound. So that's what the distortion's doing. In terms of degrade and degradation, this is where it gets nasty. Bit reduction, signal decay, things starting to fall apart, and you've got some additional controls that feed into this, a low and high pass filter and the bit rate. And again, as always, if you double click a control, it will revert back to its default position. And then lastly, echo, space, dimension. This is where this takes what this is into something that can become kind of more cinematic, starts to feel like it's somewhere less recognizable. Let's do some of that now. And then if we start putting all of that together into everything that we have, let's put a little bit of degradation on, little distortion on. Let's not make it quite so erratic. Let's do some smoothing. Let's see what we get. I could now start going and changing what I have here. So let's take aggressive electrics for a moment. We've also got things that aren't just long kind of paddy things. We've also got things like the plucks that are in there. So things like the beeps and the bloops. And they're all in there too. We'll look at a couple more. So here you've got one of the more kind of printer style things that we've recorded of mechanisms printing away. You've got things that are more suitable for kind of and again, it's supposed to be dirty, it's supposed to be unclean. And that's what you want to do. So your preset browser, let's just briefly talk about that. You've got the more, which will allow you to see your folder, import things, whatever collection that you want to export from. You've got a favorites feature as well, so you can see your favorites, and a search feature, so you can type in what you want to look for. And as I said, they're divided up. You could add, so if I wanted to add my own user ones, I could click add, create a new directory called user. And then I could just add a category. And maybe I want my own pads, for example. And then once I'm happy, I've got it all set in. I can then add one, save it up, and that's now stored in there as a preset, ready for me to use it. Look, that's it. This thing is designed to be crazy, effectively cinematic, unpredictable, built from things that were never meant to sound like this. And it's available now, macOS, Windows, all those formats. It's standalone, it's not contact, it's on special intro price at the time of recording this video, so check that out. Let us know what you think. Catch you on the next one.